All right, let's talk about a word that is absolutely everywhere these days. Token. You see it in your banking app, you hear about it with AI, and it's all over the wild world of crypto. And honestly, it can be pretty confusing. But what if I told you there's one single, really simple idea that ties all of these different meanings together? Well, that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to break it all down and make it make sense.
I mean, think about it. You've probably seen this word in a dozen completely different places. Maybe terms like ERC-721 or NFT ring a bell from the world of digital art. Or you've seen something super technical like word piece in an article about AI. Your bank might have mentioned tokenization, or tokenizatsiya, as you'd see it in Russian. You might even have a physical security device, a USB klush, which is literally a USB key. At first glance, it feels like these things have absolutely nothing in common.
So that's the big question, isn't it? How on earth can the same exact word describe a physical key for your computer, a tiny piece of a sentence for an AI, and a digital cat that sells for millions of dollars? It seems totally impossible, but the answer, you'll see, is actually surprisingly simple.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start by looking at all those different meanings, and then we'll uncover the one core idea, the secret key that connects them all. After that, we'll dive into how tokens work in security, in language, and of course, on the blockchain. And finally, we'll ask what a tokenized future might actually look like. Let's jump right in.
Okay, first things first. One word, many meanings. Before we get to the simple answer, we really have to appreciate just how confusing the problem is. And the problem, really, is that the word token is a master of disguise.
I mean, just look at this list. A token can be that metal coin, a jeton, that you used to ride the subway or play a game at an arcade. It can be that little USB stick you have to plug into your laptop to log in securely. In the world of AI, it's a small piece of text. On the blockchain, it's a digital asset. Heck, it can even be your favorite little top hat from a board game. So what in the world is the connection here?
Well, now it's time to unlock the core idea. And here's the secret. The key to understanding it all is to stop thinking about what a token is and instead focus on what a token does.
And it all comes down to its original meaning. The word token just means a sign, a symbol. It's something that stands in for or represents something else. That's it. That is the entire secret. Every single time you see the word token, it's just building on that one simple concept.
Let's make this super clear with a physical example. That subway token, the jeton, isn't actually money, right? But it represents the value of one ride. It's a stand-in. A digital token does the exact same thing. It's just a sequence of characters that stands in for something else, like your sensitive data or some kind of digital value. At the end of the day, both are just placeholders. Now let's see how this plays out in the real world. So let's talk about our first major area, security and payments. This is a place where that stand-in idea is absolutely critical because it's all about protecting your important info by never exposing the real thing. You know those little USB security keys? Think about what it's actually doing. That little device isn't your password. No, instead it creates a unique one-time code that acts as a stand-in for you, for your identity. The website sees the code, knows it's you, and lets you in, all without your real password ever having to travel across the internet. It's an electronic key that, by itself, is totally useless to a thief. This is the exact same idea that keeps your credit card safe when you shop online. When you save your card to a website, that merchant doesn't actually store your 16-digit card number. What happens is, the payment system takes your real info and swaps it out for a completely unique, random string of characters. That's the token. The merchant only ever holds on to that token, that stand-in, to process all your future payments. And here is the genius of it. As our source fondi.ua explains, this means that if a hacker breaks into that merchant's system, they don't get a jackpot of credit card numbers. They just get a list of totally useless tokens. Without the keys to the original payment system, those tokens are just meaningless garbage. Your real information stays safe and sound.
Okay, so we've seen how tokens can stand in for our secrets. Now let's pivot to a completely different field, artificial intelligence, and see how tokens can stand in for words themselves.
Think about it. A huge AI model, like the ones that power chatbots, can't just read a sentence the way you and I do. It needs to turn our messy, complicated language into cold, hard numbers that it can actually compute. And to do that, it has to break our sentences down into smaller, manageable chunks. And those chunks are called tokens. They are stand-ins for words, or sometimes even just parts of words.
Now, there are a bunch of different ways to do this using fancy-sounding algorithms like word piece or sentence piece. For example, one system might see the word tokenization and break it into two tokens, token and ization. Why? Because it recognizes ization as a really common ending. The point is, no matter how it's done, the goal is always the same. Turn human language into a sequence of standardized tokens that an AI can understand. Each token is a placeholder for a little piece of meaning.
And now for the big one, the one you've probably been waiting for, the blockchain. If you thought the other examples were broad, just get ready. Because in this world, a token can be a stand-in for, well, just about anything you can possibly imagine.
First, we need to get a really important distinction out of the way: the difference between coins and tokens. Think of it like this. A coin, like Bitcoin or Ether, has its own blockchain. It's like building your own house on your own land. But a token is built on top of a blockchain that already exists, like Ethereum. It's more like building an app that runs on someone else's operating system. This is what makes tokens so incredibly flexible.
So what can these tokens stand in for? Honestly, the sky is the limit. A token can represent a share in a company, just like a stock. It can represent a piece of a real estate investment, a right to vote in a project, or, and this is the big one, the ownership of a unique piece of digital art, which of course we all now know as an NFT.
Speaking of NFTs, their story is just wild. The very first one was actually made way back in 2014. But it wasn't until projects like CryptoPunks came along in 2017 that the idea really got standardized on the Ethereum blockchain. And that all led up to that crazy, headline-grabbing moment in 2021 when the artist Beeple sold an NFT for $69 million. Suddenly, NFT was a household name. And all it is, at its core, is a unique token that serves as a verifiable stand-in for ownership.
All this is possible because of standardized rules. Different token standards let them behave in different ways. For example, an ERC20 token is fungible. That just means they're all interchangeable. Like dollar bills. My dollar is worth the same as your dollar. This is perfect for things like currencies or company shares. But an ERC721 token is non-fungible. Each one is totally unique, like the Mona Lisa or a specific ticket to a concert. This is the standard for NFTs, for representing things that are one of a kind.
Wow. Okay, so we've gone on a journey from a simple subway turnstile to the minds of AI, all the way to multi-million-dollar digital art. We've seen how this one powerful idea, the token as a simple stand-in, is behind so many incredible technologies. So, what does this all mean for where we're headed? Let's just recap. At the end of the day, a token is just a placeholder. It can stand in for your identity when you log into a website. It can stand in for your money when you buy something. It can stand in for language for an AI. It can stand in for real-world assets, for unique art, and even for legal rights. It's an incredibly simple idea with mind-boggling flexibility. And that brings us to the final, really big thought. The trend seems to be heading toward tokenizing just about everything, turning physical property, legal agreements, and creative work into digital tokens that live on a blockchain. And that raises a massive question for all of us. If anything and everything of value can be represented by a digital token, what does it truly mean to own something in our digital future? That's definitely something we're thinking about.